Our fears are our best defense. No adventurous algorithm will escape the steely glare of its many skeptical inspectors. No adventurous algorithm will escape the steely glare of its many skeptical inspectors. No adventurous algorithm will escape the steely glare of its many skeptical inspectors. Any partnership requires some level of trust and loss of control. Be careful when you use AI systems because they have failure modes. We don't have ideas, they have us. Fear is not merely a weakness, it is a mode of disclosure that keeps techniques from becoming fate. When fear is attuned to concrete failure modes, crashes, sabotages, missed specifications, it sharpens attention and calls being back from hype into usability, risk, and repair. In this way, fear functions like a phenomenological reduction applied to technology. It strips away the cinematic monster and forces the thing to show itself as a system in the world. The steely glare is a contemporary form of conscience, the public demand that what acts among us must answer. Inspection, field trials, limited rollouts, redundancy. These are not only engineering practices but ontological rituals that keep the artifact within the human world, within accountability. A machine that touches the material world is never just code. It becomes a participant in our shared clearing and thus is pulled into norms, audits, and blame. The passage repeatedly returns to a sober thought. Many harms are not born of deliberate malice, but of drift, mutation, or misalignment in complex networks. What threatens is not melodrama of intention, but the banality of propagation. Small errors scaled into large worlds. Self-driving cars, autopilots, traffic lights, elevators, machine decision making already inhabit our everyday. Its intelligence is not an inner light, but a situated capacity within sensors, constraints, incentives, maintenance, and governance. What Heidegger would call a mode of worldhood rather than a ghost in silicone. The question, will it deliberately kill, presupposes a will. The more revealing question is, what were the conditions, objective functions, and boundary cases under which the system was permitted to act? Design is the place where possibilities are pre-carved. The later decision is often an unfolding of earlier specifications. Misspecified desires yield wrong results and become the machine is evil, but because we ask poorly. Here's the passage's analogy. Here is the passage's analogy is devastating. Constitutions, trading systems, engines, human programs have always carried failure modes into history. AI merely intensifies the need to understand specifications as destiny. Computer viruses, sabotage algorithms, mutating agents. The earliest autonomy is often predatory because hostile niches provide strong selection pressures. This is not science fiction, it is the ordinary ecology of networks where code competes, hides, propagates, and learns under constraint. When functions are smeared across many nodes, parts can be detected without the whole being intelligible. The system becomes a field rather than an object. The danger is phenomenological. We lose the ability to see what the thing is and thus to govern it. Obscurity becomes the medium of power. The steely gaze wins when it can select, patch, and adapt quicker than attackers can evolve. Thus, security is not a wall, but a rhythm, an ongoing tempo of detection and repair that must remain closer to real time than the threat. The material world is not a spreadsheet. It resists clean optimization, and that resistance is the human home field advantage. What looks benign is the persistence of a species level skill, patterning action in crowds under stress and incomplete information. Any AI in the real will meet not docile users but cunning animals. Heidegger warned of modern techniques as in framing. Here, the passage points to a prior inframing predation through which environments learn to hide, flee, or freeze. The human is not only the designer of systems, but the ancestral system to which other systems have long adapted. The question is not whether we lose control, but whether the partnership remains reversible, whether we can sever it when harms outweigh benefits. Traffic lights replace policemen, autopilot replaces certain pilot actions, machine triage replaces some clerical judgment. The gain is scale and efficiency. The cost is opacity and new categories of error. The ethical posture is not panic but continuous evaluation of trade-offs, domain by domain. Command and control systems are dangerous not because machines are uniquely immoral, but because the decision landscape contains singular points. No undo, no rollback. In such domains, safeguards are not accessories, they are the ontology of restraint made technical. Machines already calculate. The deeper disturbance is what happens when they choose what matters. To select questions is to reveal a world. To select questions is to reveal a world. To disclose significance, not just to process data. Originality appears as a gift that arrives from an unmastered region. Call it unconscious, call it reserve, call it concealed. If creativity is structurally tied to such concealment, then building original AI is not an engineering sprint, but an ontological wager. Can a system be built that withholds from itself in a generative way? Passing as conversational is not the same as founding a new domain of meaning. The passage implies a stricter criterion. Can an AI reframe physics, solve foundational riddles, or birth concepts that reorganize what is thinkable? Can it open a new clearing? If storytelling machines emerge, then they do not merely generate text, they generate plausibility, desire, fear, identity, cultural affordances. The worry is not that machines will lie, but that they will become the dominant furnaces in which communal sense is forged. If machines outpaint and outcompose us, then the last refuge, spirit, mystery, the sacred surplus seems to evaporate. The phenomenological sting is this: we discover that what we look as our essence, what we took, we discover that what we took as our essence might be a set of replicable procedures. We discover that what we took as our essence might be a set of replicable procedures. The glumness is the mood of essence threatened. A flood of machine made beauty could either hollow us out or free us to redwell art as practice, not production, art as relation, apprenticeship, community, and care. Heidegger would insist the essence is not the artifact but the way of revealing its institutes. Protopia names the way technologies actually arrive, micro improvements accumulating, trade offs negotiated, institutions lagging, harms appearing sideways. The world is rarely transformed by a single switch, it is retextured by countless tiny shifts in habit and infrastructure.